Hi, everybody. I'm Julie.
And I'm Michelle. Welcome to the Sister Sanctuary podcast.
Today, we will be talking to you about dream walking. I know it's been a while since we jumped on here and did a video. Thank you for being patient. We are trying to make it more professional, so welcome to everyone who's joined us today. So, the first thing we want to start with is the definition of dreams.
It's a series of thoughts, images, or emotions occurring during sleep and especially during REM sleep.
So during that REM sleep, that rapid eye movement sleep, that deep sleep is when we dream. Now, we looked up several definitions and that seemed to be like the most popular. But I have a different definition of what I think dreams are. So the definition does include things that we are exposed to throughout the day, problems that we have, we may when we go to sleep we may review those when we dream because it's our subconscious way of trying to solve problems. But sometimes when I dream about different lifetimes. I'm the same person, like I was a nurse, but in the dream I'm a nurse somewhere else and there's other people with me, but it's like it's another lifetime. So I think when I dream, I'm seeing parallel lives, lives that are going on at the same time as this life. And to understand a parallel life, it means every time we make a decision about something, we create a new timeline. So, say I decided to have children. Now, if I made a decision not to have children, it would have created a new timeline, and then I would have continued on that timeline. So that's what parallel lives are. And I think in dreams, it's just a way for us to be able to explore those timelines. However, Michelle has different kinds of dreams, and I'll let her talk to you about her
I
dreams.
have like vision dreams. 6.51% of our dreams actually come true, whether that be in a deja vu moment or whether that be on different timelines, like she was just talking about. Um, a lot of my dreams, I can dream of people that I've never met before and then actually meet them down the line, which kind of brought me to the deja vu kind of dreams. But a lot of my dreams are also like hers, but they come in like visions. It's where you're on a different timeline and you dream about certain things, certain events that are taking place in that dream world, I
Mhm.
guess is as you would say
Like
it.
you're living another the same a life, another
Yeah.
life.
It's just you living another life in another timeline.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people believe in past lives, and I believe there's actually lives that we haven't lived yet either. So, kind of like future lives. And you're kind of looking into another world of,
So you can look into those future lives too when you dream.
yeah, yes, very much so. And I think a lot of people actually do it, but I think a lot of people don't actually recall what they dream when they dream something and they wake up and they don't recall it at the time, but then something in your life would happen and you kind of have that moment where have I seen this before? Once again, like a deja vu moment. And you don't remember where you've seen it, but you've probably actually seen it in your dreams.
And another thing about dreams, I don't think people understand is that we leave this reality and we go into another reality. So we talked about those parallel timelines, but I also think we go into the astral realms, which where the parallel timelines are, but there's also a realm between our lives and our real life. So a lot of near death experiencers, when they come back from that near death, they say that that life felt more real
Right,
than this life.
right.
So
And that's basically the same thing. Um, I mean, there's different definitions of dreams, different things that you could dream about. Um, for instance, like I know I have done some research on like if you're in a dream and you're dreaming of someone who doesn't have a face. That's usually telling you that something is trying to come in. I don't want to say attack you, but it's because it's not like that. It's like something's trying to come in that's not supposed to be there.
It's trying
If,
to trick you or
yeah,
deceive you.
if you can't recall their face. Um, 90% of the people say usually when you dream something like that, it's not a good dream. So, in order for that dream, for you to not repeat that dream, um, I know it probably sounds superstitious, but some people say that if you share the dream, you won't have it again. So, kind of things like that is what we're talking about today. And just seeing what you guys' experiences are on different kinds of dreams.
So I know in the Bible they talked about dream interpretation, and they had people who would interpret other people's dreams. So that means the dream can be like predictive, like it can predict events that were going to happen that we didn't know were going to happen. And it can help us solve like some of the famous mathematicians, and they would solve problems in their dreams. Like if they were working on a mathematical equation and they couldn't solve it, then they would get the answer a lot of times in their dreams. So I think that in our dreams we're able to connect to our higher aspect of ourselves and to God, because we're free from this environment, from this world we're in. But like Michelle said, and it's one of my biggest problems, is I can dream something and wake up and that dream is gone. And I do that with meditation too. Like I can see things, visions, and pictures of things when I meditate. But as soon as my mind comes back to this reality, those things are gone. So a lot of people talk about doing a dream journal right when you wake up, and I'm so lazy, y'all. I don't do that. I don't grab something and write it down. I just don't. But it usually helps for me to, if I knew something, like I had a dream meditation, and I wanted to tell Michelle about it. I told myself, remember these two things, and that's how I remembered it. But some people use a recorder and they keep it by the bed. And I used to record, I used to drive an hour to work, an hour back. So I would have the best meditations driving. Just you start thinking about things, and I would record them on the recorder. And half the time, I don't even remember the stuff that I spoke on the recorder. So it's almost like hypnosis, almost like part of what I do is like you are taking your mind out of that aspect of being in this world, and you're moving it into another field of energy where you get other information.
A spiritual world.
Hmm.
A spiritual world, basically. A lot of my dreams, I have recurring dreams a lot. And usually, I remember most of my dreams, first off, let me say that. But as far as recurring dreams, once you take notice of what the dream is trying to tell you, then it moves on. Then it moves on to like another dream. There's different aspects of dreams that people believe. Like some people say that if you dream about family members, you're actually adding years to their life. Some people believe that if you're dreaming about an ex, they either thought about you before they went to sleep or they're dreaming about you too at the same time. Um, Different aspects like that, different dreams. The dream that I wanted to get into is like lucid dreams because I never really understood lucid dreams. And also you can also astral project into your dreams. So like she said, the astral projection is kind of like you're skipping to another timeline and you're dreaming about stuff on that side of the timeline. I do that a lot. um
So you feel like you're actually living it at the
right,
same time.
right. And that's when I mentioned recurring dreams. Um, I usually have that recurring dream until I realize that I'm actually on the other side of the timeline, living it in real time, basically. Even though you're sleeping, you're still on that other astral projection timeline. and you're just living on the other side of the timeline, basically, is what you're doing.
Now, some near-death experiencers say that in the astral realms is really where we're from. So when we pass from this space we're in into the next space, our energy is able to remember everything, and we remember who we are, but we still are able to have different experiences, going to different places, and continuing on to do the things that we want. And when I did a past life regression, I remember that the knowledge that I learned would be recorded and put into crystals, and these crystals would be put into libraries in schools. So other species from all over the universe, they go to all these different schools, and those people who are not able to experience Earth would be able to experience through the crystal technology um, the emotions and everything that happened in that lifetime. So I think it's all connected together. But I think the people who used to do dream interpretation understood what the symbols in our dreams were and what they meant. And even in the Native American culture, they had dream walkers too. Like people can actually go inside of other people's dreams. Like they have the ability to astral travel and go into other people's dreams and help with whatever kind of problems they were having there. But there's some symbols and stuff. Like Michelle talked about, if you have a dream where you can't see the face, it might mean somebody's trying to fool you or trick you. But I've had dreams where people would not face me. Like I would be talking to them and they didn't face me. And I did ask why that was so. And the two beings that happened with, they told me because if you saw what it really looked like, it would shock you. And I kind of understood that because we're going through a time where there's a lot of things happening that we don't understand. And we may be meeting beings that are going to shock us. And we're going to talk more about that in our next video.
I believe in some of your dreams, you actually see your spiritual guide
Mhm.
in your dreams. I know I do a lot. And um, you have to, if they're trying to tell you something, you have to be aware enough to actually stop and listen to what they're saying, to know that they are your guide. They're there to help you. And they're probably there to help you with something that is going on with your life now in this world. Um, it's just remembering it when you wake up. I know a lot of people probably don't remember most of their dreams when they wake up. And that's like, once again, I come back to the deja vu moment, where something comes together where they tell you in your dream that this will happen. And when it does happen, something clicks in your mind saying, okay, that actually happened. Where did it happen? And you're kind of racking your brain trying to think of where you thought of it. And it's probably in your dreams. And your spiritual guides come in and out of your dreams quite a bit, whether it's to help you with problems, whether it's to guide you a certain way or a certain path you need to be going down instead of the one that you're actually on.
Now, people might say, how do I know these aren't demons? Now, how do I know they're not that? That question comes up so much. And I think we have been made to be afraid of every little thing. But you can test these spirits the same way you would test a spirit who was to show up in front of you in the physical here on earth. Like you can question them, like, who are you? And why are you here? And you intuitively you will understand and feel if this
You will
being is good or
definitely,
bad.
yeah, you will definitely feel it. Um, I always go by your intuition. There are so many times in my life that I didn't go by my intuition, and it down the line it cost me. So if you have that gut feeling like this thing is not supposed to be here, and something is telling you that it's bad, then it's bad. And but you will not feel that when your guides come in. When your guides come in, you will feel the peace, the spirituality, and you know that they're actually there to help you. through whatever your path is taking you, whatever you're supposed to be doing, you will feel that it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. Usually, with anything bad, your gut instinct automatically tells you, okay, it's bad, what's going on here? Always question it, is what she's saying.
Did you want to go do some dream symbols? And then maybe we'll talk about dream terrors and nightmares too. Oh, I didn't know what you wrote on here, but you wanted to share.
I
She
just
took
have
notes. I didn't
I
take
just
notes.
I just have different
I'll let Michelle
different
tell you that.
different types of dreams that you could have. We already talked about the the faceless person and the dream. And when you're dreaming of someone who passed away, I kind of touched on this. If you dream of someone who appears alive in your dream, it could be that your brain is processing memories or emotions associated with that person. However, if you dream of someone who's actually passed away and you remember the dream vividly, it could be a spiritual visitation. It could be that person coming to tell you that they're actually okay on the other side. Um, or even something that's happening in your life, they could be there for the visitation just to tell you that it's going to be okay. Um, if you're liking somebody, this is not for the married people, I guess. If you're liking somebody, it's believed that when you dream um, of that person, they're either thinking about you, or if they don't know you, then you are kind of manifesting them into your life, if that makes sense. Um,
I have a theory about that. I think everybody we have had a relationship with in our past, we're still connected to energetically. So you're still tied in together. So say an ex, you dream about an ex boyfriend or girlfriend. Um, and that makes sense. Like if they're thinking about you and you have a dream about it, that is why you're having the dream because
right,
they're connecting their energy to yours.
right.
Hmm.
It's your energies definitely connect. If you feel strongly enough about somebody, um, and you think about that person often, your energy is definitely connecting to that person, no matter where they are in the world,
Hmm.
no matter if they passed away or if how long, however you've been apart, it could be years. That person will still feel that touch of energy. Energies are just as strong as our human bodies, I believe, because that is what your human body is basically made of. Is it's all energy. So when you pass away and they lay you to rest, what do you think is coming out of you? Basically, it's your energy. Your energy is basically attached to your soul. It's your
Yeah, it's
soul's
your soul
energy.
energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is basically what it is.
Hmm.
So it doesn't stay in the ground where your body is. I believe that it actually goes to where it needs to go next. Some people, me and my sister call it recycle. Some people actually come back and have a chance to get it right the next time. And some people actually go home.
They move on.
They move on
Yeah.
to the next world, to the next.
And I think we all have a place we came from. Like I don't think Earth is the place we all come from. I think Earth is a experience. It's a place to come have an experience. I think our families, we are connected to families who are not in this world. And you hear people refer to it as soul groups sometimes.
Yeah.
We all have a soul group that we can return to when we're done here.
It's almost like portals. I mean, I know if you look into the different tribes and stuff like that. I read about a tribe that the whole tribe disappeared. They
Yeah.
they didn't know what happened to them. They didn't have no bodies to bury or anything like that. It's a whole tribe disappeared, and I believe that there's like portals to different worlds where you can actually walk through. I think that was back in the Egyptian days when that happened.
There's a couple of civilizations that have disappeared off the record, but we're going to talk about that in our next
Yeah.
podcast more.
So it's all connected to dreams, basically, you know. So if you're dreaming about something hard enough, if you dream about it constantly, I would say that your dream manifesting is what you're doing. You're manifesting something into your life um, that you're actually needing at the time in this life. When you dream about another timeline, you're either dreaming about a past life or you're dreaming about a future life that is to come. Um, so take that for what it is. So if you can, they say that the best thing to do is start like a dream journal and start marking your dreams down. So when it does recur, you can go back and say, okay, but I had this dream before. So what is it that my mind is trying to tell me that I'm manifesting into this dream? And then you go from there. It goes into the real world that you're living in.
And I know if you want to have more control over your dreams, I know before you go to sleep at night, you need to program your mind to what energetic level it wants to be on. So if you're on your phone scrolling through a bunch of stuff, I notice that those are the things that pop up in my mind when I'm trying to go to sleep. So you need to put down the phone or the computer and you need to program your mind like, say, I need an answer to this, or I would like to communicate with my spirit guide, or, I have a question about something. Put that question in your mind, ask your spirit guide or higher self to come through and help show you. And they will, but sometimes it comes in a flash. It's not like it's going to be an all night thing. So that's why it becomes important that, yeah, you need to record it somewhere if you're trying to solve a problem or um, you want to effectively communicate with the other side during your dreams.
It can come in a flash, it could come in a dream, it could come in a vision. I mean, you could be wide awake and you would have a vision of something. I have them a lot, and it could be anything. It is what you have asked your guide to help you with, and they will answer you. You just have to know when they're answering you and touch on exactly what it is. So yeah, dream journal is definitely the best way to go, or record it, one or the other.
So I wanted to talk about nightmares and night terrors. So some children, when they're little, really little, like 1 or 2 years old, some of them experience night terrors. And we had a niece that when she was little, she would experience night terrors, and it's very scary for parents and the child who don't understand what's going on with the child. I think this is just my opinion, and Michelle might have something different. But I think they're experiencing past life trauma, something that happened to them in another lifetime that they brought with them at that age. Now that don't mean that there's not energies that are interfering with them. Usually a night terror, they will be sound asleep and then they will wake up out of dead sleep screaming and yelling, and there might be witnessing something like a car crash or a fire or a drowning or something like that. Well, to me that's saying that that child has reincarnated back into a body, and that terror of that lifetime, that stress of that lifetime hasn't been fully healed. So that is something that you can work on with that child. Now, some of us experience nightmares. So, you might wake up in a cold sweat because you're having a feeling of terror. And I've done that maybe twice in my lifetime. And I feel those are actually dark and demonic attacks. Um, when you're having a physical reaction to something and you don't understand what it is, but you know it's something dark trying to get to you, you can't just brush those things off. It is your body's way of telling you something's not right and you need to pay attention to it. So with this instance, when that happened to me 2 nights in a row, it happened to me. I had to look at what I was doing and my guides told me, and when I say my guides told me, it's not like I even hear voices. It's like a conversation I'm having in my head, okay, and with myself. Like I hear my voice, and they told me no contracts, and I had just signed a particular contract with a group I was going to work with. Well, they told me this group was not on the up and up, and they weren't a good group to get with. And the contract I signed with them opened me up to be exposed to these dark energies. So I had to cancel the contract. Then I had to do spiritual clearing, like we were talking about reinforcing
Your energy
your
field.
energy. I'll let you tell them how to do that.
But let me say this real quick. When it comes to children, from the time of birth to the time of 7, 8 years old, they're innocent. They're innocent children. They are the creator and God's children. So if something is attacking them at night, they're trying to draw that pure energy, basically. And like the nightmares that she's talking about, night terrors are a totally different thing. Nightmares, on the other hand, if it keeps recurring in a child, I believe that something is trying to get in to take that pure energy away from them. Um, and then it leads to after the age of 7 or 8, once they start hitting teenage years and stuff like that, it leads to something almost, I want to say demonic,
That can attach
you know,
itself. It
and
can
that can
attach
attach
itself to,
themselves to them. But through the mom or the dad's energy, your energy alone can protect whatever is in your house. And I say that because, like she was fixing to touch on, your energy is kind of like a force field. It could be good or it could be bad. It depends on what kind of energy you draw to yourself. You have the power, everybody in this world has the power to draw their own pure energy out of themselves. And you have the energy to actually protect what
to,
is,
to build a shield up
yeah,
around your
what is
home.
yours.
Yeah.
So that's one thing to think about. So when it comes to your children, always always try to put that good energy from you onto them,
Around them.
and it will protect them from whatever
Mhm.
is trying to come in.
And you know what, too? Sometimes I think that we think children are just playing games or, making things up. And we tell them, oh, it's just a bad dream. Oh, go away. Like we just blow things off and we don't validate that the feelings that they're expressing to us are real. Now, if a 2-year-old child is telling you that they're seeing a little boy in their room, we really need to pay attention and listen. If they're afraid because they're afraid because they're seeing stuff out the window, we need to address it. Like I know I was terrified to look out my window at night. My mom and dad had to put a shade up on my window for me to pull down at night. But you know what? Just that little act of putting the shade up that I can pull down made me feel safe. So we shouldn't act like it's always make believe. There's a lot of things in this world that we don't understand. And as the adults, we need to try to understand them. And I think it's a shame what has happened because I did this too when my kids were little. Like I didn't believe everything they were telling me. I thought a lot of the stuff was just make believe. But there are real energies interacting with our children, and they're because they are in that innocent spiritual state between birth and 7, they are wide open. They are more likely to be able to see into the other realms, see beings that are there, angels or demonic. And if they're telling you they're seeing these things, you need to listen.
Bring it to the forefront, definitely. Um, my thing was I didn't like the dark when I was little, hated it. Um, had 2 nightlights in my room when I was little because I just didn't like the darkness, even sleeping. But if your kid says to you, if your child comes to you and says, Mom, there's a monster in my closet. It could not be a monster. It could just be a person that's there to visit them, whether it be somebody that's passed or somebody. A child's innocent mind will make it out to be a monster sometimes. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. That's like she said, and I would investigate. You know what I mean? I would go and look in that closet. And if you feel that there's something bad in it, then there's something bad in it. Then the next move you need to do is you need to bless that closet, say St. Michael's prayer over it, and be done with it.
Do an energy clearing.
Definitely. But if it's a lady that's sitting on their bed just watching them when they sleep and they're not scared of her, then that's telling you that they're also seeing into the angel realm too. You know,
It could be
so
someone who's passed over recently who lived in the house or in the area. It could be a deceased family member.
right.
Someone who's just watching over them. Like, I think we have to start having these conversations that this physical world isn't the only world that affects us. And we are, and actually, we're all getting ready to experience the other realm. And we're all going to have to start listening to each other without judging each other.
And
about
there
it.
are, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are demonic things in this world. But then again, um it's almost like, what would you do if you seen an alien? Would you automatically think it's demonic, or would you at least try to have a conversation to see if you can even communicate with that being? You know, because that's what they are. Even though they look the way they do, doesn't mean they're demonic. It just means that they're a different species than from what we are. And I think a lot of the adults actually need to come to that realization too. Is a lot of us think, okay, I'm going to live my whole life and not see an alien or another being. But what if you do? What if you walked out your backyard and you seen another being in your backyard? How would you react? You know what I mean? And I can tell you right now, almost 70% of the people that live in this world today will probably react the same way. They'll probably run in their house, lock their doors, and pray over it. You know what I mean? And just, I don't know. It's, to me, it would be an interesting thing. You know, I would kind of ask it, what are you doing here? Who are you? You know, because I would generally want to know, you know, why are you in my backyard?
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of like these ghost hunter shows where they go and they're videotaping for ghosts and they're looking for ghosts. And as soon as they hear a bump or see a light or something, they're running down the hall screaming because they experienced this.
But yet you manifest it to come to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You went into that house knowing that it was haunted and asked it to show itself. And when it finally showed itself, it did what you asked it to do. You got scared and ran away. I mean, it's like I said, I know there's demonic things in this world, but there's also good things in this world too. So when you're standing in the middle, your intuition has to say to you, okay, this thing is bad and I need to go this way. Or if your curiosity peaks, then I don't think it's a bad thing. I think you should have a conversation with it. You know, so
And this is, we're going back to that conversation about dreams. Yeah, I might be saying, so y'all talking about, demons and stuff, but this is all the same thing. Like we think that it's all separate, but really it's not. We're getting ready to see in the astral realms. We're going to be able to. We used to be able to do that. We just forgot how to do it. But a lot of people are starting to be able to do that, or they can do it.
but a lot of it does go back to dreams. A lot of it goes back to nightmares. A lot of it goes back to the REM world, lucid dreams. It goes back to astral projection dreams. That's why we're talking about dreams today. And that's how we got into this whole conversation about aliens and everything else, is because a lot of it does come in to your mind when you're dreaming. Um, so if you're dreaming and you do see something that's not human, um, you know, you kind of got to ask yourself in that dream too, okay, what is it I'm looking at, you know, and why am I communicating with this being? It all comes down to the power of mind, I guess you could say.
And I think we need to. We're gonna finish this recording up, but I want to finish it up with dream symbols because we expect beings. to communicate with us like we're talking to each other and we're talking to you. And really, a lot of beings don't communicate the way we're communicating. A lot of them are telepathic. Sometimes they try to communicate with you through pictures or colors or music or sounds or smells. Like they use other senses, and even that energy, feeling a different foreign energy, like not a bad energy, but you're picking up some kind of energy that you are not familiar with. So that's where we have to learn how to open up our senses and start trying to investigate and discover what is being communicated through us. So we like to sit out in my backyard, and we noticed that we're starting to see into the nature realm, but we have been sitting back there observing and listening and communicating. Like we're opening ourselves up to, this realm has been with us. It feels good. It doesn't feel bad.
Right.
We're ready to do it, but we have to know how to do it. It's not that the tree's gonna start talking to you.
If you don't accept it, if you're looking at this video right now and you're saying, okay, these two ladies are just off, and it's not that, it's opening your energy up to things that are beyond us seeing, beyond us knowing. Um, think about God's world. How would you spiritually open up to God? By praying. Um, so if your kid came to you and said, Mom, I seen an angel in my dream last night, that kid probably 99%, I could say that kid did see an angel in his dream last night. It's opening up your energy to the world around you. Let's put it that way. And if you don't accept it, if you don't want to open yourself up to it, then it's things that you'll never understand and you'll never see. And that's the point we're trying to get across right now, is that I think our world is coming to a spot in this earth that if you don't open yourself up to it, one, when it does happen, you're going to be scared to death and you ain't going to know what to think, or you can open yourself up to it. And I'm not saying invite it in, but what I am saying is try to understand what world they're coming from. So I know we're not the only ones on Earth. If you think about all the other cosmo planets out there, I know there's living things on other planets. So in other worlds. So if you open yourself up to that, I would say I would rather be prepared and open myself up to that energy than to one day see it and then be scared to death and stay in my house for the rest of my life. Because that's basically.
You can't be in fear. Like fear is going to do two things. It's going to shut it down, and you won't experience it anymore, or it's going to feed some kind of entity that is not a good entity.
Right.
So you need to understand what it's trying to communicate with you. And a lot of us are going through. We're going through. I hate this. It's so cliche, but people call it the dark night of the soul. But right now, we really are being supported by the energy that's coming in to look at those things that make us sad, those things from our past that we haven't healed in us through emotions and mentally, and we need to deal with them right now. And in order to deal with that right now, you need to be able to look at it. You need to look at the bad that has occurred in your life, and you need to come to um, some kind of meeting with it. I don't want to say healing because some things you just can't heal from. You just can't forget. But you can make yourself strong enough to, yes, I experienced this, and I'm not going to let it rule my life or keep me in fear or keep me in anger. And I'm going to move on and be the best person I can be while I'm here. That's starting to deal with it and healing from those things.
And a spiritual awakening could be a beautiful thing too. It could be one of the awesome things that you'll ever feel in your life if you open yourself up to it.
I mean, that energy from the higher realms, from God, from the angelics, for even those beings on the higher realms are here to help us. that energy is so much more powerful than what we've been feeling here. Even the darkness, those dark emotions. And it can open us up and help heal us. So yeah, anyone who's ever had a spiritual awakening, you know what I'm talking about. But some people talk about, I had a Kundalini experience and I opened up. To me, it's a spiritual awakening. It's your body connecting with the higher spirit on those higher realms, to the God realm, to your higher self. And the energy is, you're able to pull that energy into you and help get you through this lifetime.
So we're just doing the podcast to open it up, throw it out there. If you guys want to come in and have a conversation with us, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and come join us and let's talk about it.
Yeah, this recording I'm not going to put up live. We're going to do another recording after this, but in the future, we're going to be going live. We're just learning how to use this software, this program, and we're doing pretty good. So just bear with us. We're almost there. If you want a topic that you would like us to sit down and talk to you about, just let us know. And there's one more thing about dreams I want to bring up so we can close out the discussion on dreams. That the symbology in dreams, there's a lot of psychologists who have studied symbology. So that's another way that you are being communicated with in your dream. So colors, if you dream in certain colors, if you're seeing a certain color, you need to investigate the meaning of that color, what they're trying to tell you. Even pictures, you're seeing certain things like you're seeing flowers and trees, and that's all connected to some kind of communication that, we all understand dark communication because we can feel it and it scares us and we know it's dark. But sometimes we think we're just having these mundane dreams that they don't mean anything, when actually we don't dream anything that doesn't mean nothing.
Right.
Everything that we dream when we're sleeping,
has a meaning.
It has some kind of meaning.
It has a meaning to it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like I was telling myself, I kept seeing myself as a nurse working at these different jobs and these other life, parallel lives. I'm like, that's so boring, but it's telling me something. Like, I know nursing was my calling, and I know that's something I needed to do because that was something my soul wanted to do when it came here. So it's communicating that with me, and the people around me in those dreams had some kind of effect on me emotionally. That's something else that you need to look at. Like, did you feel stressed? Who were the people around you? What were you doing? That's stuff that you need to heal and deal with. So, but that's all I want to say about it. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
That's it.
And there's many books about dreams. They have dream symbology and stuff like that. And that's fine. You can look it up. But I think you're the only person who can really understand what your dreams are trying to tell you, because they're connected with you on an intimate level.
Right.
And
they're trying to connect to your energy.
Yes. And your situation is not going to be the same as my situation. So that's something, that's like a little quest. That's your work. That's working on yourself. You need to figure out what's going on with that.
So keep an open mind. Keep an open mind about everything that's around you, your energy, your dreams. Just open yourself up to it, and you never know.
And with children who are having night terrors and things like that, you really need to find a good therapist to work with the child. That's not something that they're just going to heal from. Now, find a spiritual therapist who's working specifically with children to help them. I'm not saying go get them medicated by a psychiatrist, or some of the psychologists that we have are not open to some of these things. So you need to do your homework, find somebody you feel like can help your child on a spiritual level, and find help for them.
And we have a lot of women that are with us in our group that we have a lot of tools in our toolbox too, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if there's anything that you guys need to know about, just let us know and we'll see if we can help you out. We'll see if one of them can help you out. So
And like children is the hardest. Like
Yeah.
we know people who do breath work and Reiki and yoga and meditation and sound healing and hypnosis and all those tools that people can use right now to help them heal. But with a child,
Stephanie does
it's
trauma.
hard.
Doesn't she do trauma?
She does a somatic trauma release. It's releasing
For
trauma
children.
from your body, and she uses essential oils and stuff like that
Yeah.
too. So, yeah, we live in Louisiana, but if you live around us and you need help trying to find spiritual assistance in some way, just reach out and we can help refer you. There was a directory for metaphysical healers that I used to be part of, but I haven't seen it in a while. So maybe we can find out and
So we got together because I'm a spiritual guide advisor, and my sister is.
quantum healing hypnosis. I do QHHT.
So we usually do sessions when somebody comes in for a session. We usually do them together, and
So I do the QHHT hypnosis part. And then during that session, Michelle sits in and she connects with your spiritual guides to help get information from them that would help you. So at the end of the session, she reviews those things with you and the communication she receives. So it's like you're getting 2 in 1 session of communication. So for the QHHT sessions too, which is the same for Michelle, you bring a list of questions and we review those questions. And if that's what you want to find out in that session, that is what we're going to do our best to help you find out. So, and if you're interested, go to our website. It's thequantumfeather.net. And just reach out to us and let us know. And you can find the information about those services there. So thank you for joining us today.
we'll see you on the next video. Y'all have a great day. Bye.
Bye.